Hey, Shalom. Just want to thank Erez for the opportunity to be presenting on this live stream this thought about Sefirat HaOmer. Not to take too much time from anyone, I just wanted to share a quick idea that we know we have this counting of the Omer, the 49 days. What I found very interesting was in my research that it seems to be that the 49th day of the womb of a child in a womb, that's when the pineal gland forms in the brain. So I'm like, wait a minute. A baby in the womb gets its pineal gland on the 49th day of being in the womb, 7th week. It's crazy. So what does that even mean? 49. So what does it do? Is Sefirat HaOmer, the pineal gland? There's a lot of research that has to go into this, but if you also look into it, obviously Judaism, we have our own school of thought, but other religions have what's called nitzotzot, sparks, or foreign ideas that have come from maybe Avraham Avinu or the lost tribes, etc. We already know that the lost tribes of Israel traveled from Africa to India 2,500 years ago, spreading Torah and information. But even prior to that, it says in the Torah, Abraham sent his kids to the far east with gifts, with knowledge and information. There's speculation that Hinduism and some of the philosophies out there were hashkafa, or spiritual ideas that were gifted from Abraham to children that were brought out towards India at those times, which is interesting because I think it's in Hinduism, people could do their own research, but they believe on the 49th day, the soul gets impregnated into the womb, and we see scientifically now the pineal gland's coming in on the 49th day, but we also know the pineal gland is tied to, anyone's following my Torahs, if you Google the word psychedelics and Torah, the first thing that comes up is a Safaria interview, a Safaria source sheet, where you can see that and learn about it. Let me know how you feel about that whole theory. But the pineal gland itself is the focus of the conversation, is that this 49th day it comes, the soul comes. What is going on over here? So first, before we answer it, I want to press pause. I just want to go and understand one basic thing, is the concept of anticipation or foresight, or seeing something in the future and then experiencing that reality in the now. So what am I trying to say? I'll give an example so we can understand it a little bit better. Let's say, and I've given this example in the past, if you've seen me say it again, I'll say it again, say it again. What are you going to do? If you're in a big debt, like a big hole, you don't have so much money, and you're really worried, and there's so much stress, and you got this big bill to pay, and if you don't pay the bill, they're going to confiscate your house and your car, and they start to foreclosure. All the stresses of the world come onto you. You don't know what to do. You can't walk. You can't breathe. The Gemara says financial stress is one of the only reasons that there's an argument in the house in the first place. It's just because of lack of money. Why else would we argue? Obviously, rich people argue, so that's the ego. But most of the basic human arguments come from actually financial reasons. So you're really in this bad hole. You're so stressed, and someone calls and reaches out to you and says, hey, listen, bro, I heard you're in a pickle, whatever it is. I'm sending you a check. I'm gonna give you a check in the mail. So grateful, so thank you. He sends the check in the mail. Now the check's in the mail, it's on its way towards your house. It's gonna take a week to arrive. It's a special delivery, whatever it is. Now you have a week's time. Like, you're okay. Like, I can make it through this week until the check arrives. Like, my bailout, this check is going to be huge for me. I really need it. So for that week, you don't have the check. It's in the mail. It's a hypothetical. It's a reality that is in the future, but you're certain it's coming. Excuse me, because it's been sent. It's already on its way. It's not there. You don't have ownership of it. You don't have the money. It's not in your hands, but it's on its way. But guess what? The fact that it's on its way, that $1 million check, it creates a whole entire reality in the person's life where he experiences as if he has it now. Meaning, I don't have the $1 million today, but I know it's on its way. So guess what? I'm going to be chilling. I'm just going to enjoy today. Today will be a great day for me, even though I don't have the money. Why? Because I know it's coming. I'm so certain of a future reality that I'm experiencing the emotions of it now, in the now. So this is like huge. I'm like, wait a minute. This is a very big deal. Does that mean our mind has the power to regulate our emotions? It seems so. Rabbi Nachman was right. King Solomon was right. Moses was right. The Torah is right. Our thoughts control our moods. So if our thoughts are in worry or doubt, like let's say sfekus, safek in Hebrew, safek is gematria Amalek, which is the nation that brought doubt upon us in the first place. It says asher karcha b'derech, they caused us to cool down, they slowed us down. If this doubt, if this worry, if this state of mind is impregnated in us in the first place, this is like what we're battling against. We have to get out of this scenario of doubt. How do we get out of it? By certainty. But what certainty? What do we know? Well, we're told one thing for sure. We're told that in the future there will be a Mashiach. It'll be all good. The resurrection of the dead. Everyone in the house of Israel has a chelik in Olam Haba. Everyone in the house of Israel has a portion of the world to come. And we even teach that everyone on the planet becomes called the house of Israel in the future, in the days of the Messiah. These are all very deep matters, but all we know is that this whole scenario we're in is going to end up in a scenario called all good. It's all good. Hakol tov. It's all good. So you got to take a second and think about that for a second. If at the end of the day it will be all good, the inevitable reality, if the finish line, the goal, the end of all things is good, then now I don't need to really worry because I see what will be. It will be good. So perhaps I could feel that goodness now. Just like the guy who's like, I don't have $1 million now, but it's in the mail, so I feel like I have $1 million now in my mind, so I'm chilling like I have $1 million. So same thing with us. If we know the redemption's inevitable, then we should feel it now, because it's coming. We should feel the joy of the redemption now. And by the way, BTW, between me and you, this could be a hybrid of self-fulfilling prophecy, because how does the prophecies unfold is when we believe it, when we feel it. How do we feel it? Because we know it's going to happen. But it happens because we think it's going to happen. It's a chicken and egg game. It's a partnership, a shitvus we call it in the yeshivish terminology, a partnership between the creator of the universe and humanity. We're partners. Everyone's like, oh, God's in control. God's driving the wheel. I'm like, I don't know about that. God gave us partnership to be in partnership with Him that we can actually play a role. What type of role can we play? What do? Well, we see, it says, Kol bidei shemayim chutz miyirah shemayim. Everything is in the hands of heaven except for the fear of heaven. Average Jews like fear of heaven. Wow, that's pretty tough. I fear heaven. I got a lot of fear, bugging out, fear, panic. We're like, wait a minute. The rabbis, the Chassidim teach us, don't read a fear like pachad. It's not scared. Yiras Hashem is the same letters as re'iyah, as seeing with your eyes, ro'eh. So we could reread this teaching to say precisely, everything is in the hands of heaven except for how you can see or perceive that everything is in the hands of heaven. So basically what we're trying to say is, yeah, you have a partnership with God in this world, and what can you actually do? You can see God in this world. God can't do that. You can do that. That's the only thing you can do, is you could see God in this world. And if we could see God in this world, that's our role. And we could bring Him into this world also through that. We could, God comes in this world through us. We're His partners. If I make a Kiddush Hashem, then I'm bringing God into this world. If I make a Chilul Hashem, if I desecrate God's name, if I do something bad, then I'm taking God out of this world. So we actually have partnership in this whole entire matter. See, we could even bring demons into this world. What do you mean we could bring demons into this world, Harry? Yeah, we learn from the story of Noah. When Noah drank, when he planted his vineyard, the Medrash and Sefer Zerah Shimshon says, a demon popped out of the ground and spoke to Noah, and the demon said to Noah, hey Noah, I just want to let you know, I'm going 50-50 with you on this partnership. What does it mean 50-50? The demon says, if you drink more, or if you consume more than the X amount, basically, then I am in the picture. So we learn from this that too much alcohol consumption, demons enter you. And I was just with my good friend, Shlomo Yaakov Leifer, a big tzaddik, and we were talking about this matter the other day, and it came up just precisely this exact topic of Cinco de Mayo. And it's a holiday of drinking alcohol for the Goyim and everything. I said, oh, a lot of demons in the world. He said, what do you mean? What's Sheikh's demons in Cinco de Mayo, Jewish holidays? I said, well, it's just Pashup Pshat. It's just simple. We know that if too much alcohol brings in demons inside of you, then if there's a holiday around drinking too much alcohol, well, the demons are going to come into all these people. It's a very big problem. So yeah, obviously, when everyone's drinking alcohol, it's crazy. Which is why I'm totally pro-Islamic haramness, forbidding the drinking and the consumption of alcohol. Why? We do not need an extra demon layer on top of what Islam's already doing. Islam's like, yeah, basically we're going to have to rape you and take taxes from you unless you believe in our story. And it's like, I don't want that guy to get drunk. Promise you. That guy who says he's got a sword and he's going to rape my family and kill us unless we convert to his religion of peace, which is what they've been doing for the last 1,000 years, and we have a lot of PTSD and trauma, understandably, which is what we have to discuss today on these college campuses. Yeah, we don't want those guys drinking alcohol for sure. So they say it's haram. Great. Keep it haram, my Islamic brothers. Ramadan Kareem. I love you all, and we'll have world peace soon. Nonetheless, back to the original point, is everything is really in the mind. We really bring God into the world through our mind and through our actions. So back to the whole concept of Sefirat HaOmer, of counting, of anticipating. If we see that there is a date where there is a wedding ceremony, there is a union between us and God, where we have an opportunity to celebrate, where we will have this, we can experience it now. So the countdown is not some or the count up, the Sefirat HaOmer. I don't think it's like a power trip, that these rabbis were putting people on. Some people are so egotistical where they're like, who does this man think he is to make a religion that I have to follow and I have to make a blessing every night? It's like, wait a minute. Maybe the sage 2,000 years ago has your best interest in mind regarding mental health and spirituality and reality. Maybe he's letting you know that, hey, if you actually took a break and realized what the future reality will be, you can experience that future reality right now and get the upgrade. So it's like, that's the greatest drug in the world. What's the greatest drug in the world? We could feel it now. Oh, but it's not happening till then. I was like, no. But if you're aware of it and you're certain of it, you can actually feel it. How do you know? Let me send you $1 million check in the mail. For the 5 days it takes to come there, I promise you're going to feel like a millionaire. So if we actually believe in the future reality, we can actually feel the situation in the now. And this, my friends, I say my brothers and sisters, I say gentlemen, I don't say gentlemen, I say gentle friends, all the humans, that this is the concept of emunah, of faith. If I'm certain that in the future there will be Yemot HaMashiach, the days of Mashiach, guess what? I can feel it in the now. So if I'm certain it will be a messianic future, I will feel that now. And guess what? Maybe it's a few hundred years away, maybe it's tomorrow. It doesn't matter to me. Because if I die and I didn't experience it, there's a concept called Tchiyat HaMetim, where you arise from the dead and you experience it. So if I die, it's like I wake up and I'm here. It's like, how long is the wait from going to sleep to waking up in the morning? It's the next thing you know. You go to sleep, next thing you know, it's the morning. So if I die, I feel like the next thing I know, it's going to be the Gul, it'll be the redemption. So I'm super stoked. I'm like super excited. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm going to be experiencing the Mashiach in my lifetime. Because even if it's not in my lifetime, I'm going to die. I'll have Tchias HaMesim, I'll come back. And then I will have I'll be there. So no matter what, it's all good. So I, Harry, convinced myself that the future is all good no matter what. So now I'm living in the all good now because I know how it will end up. And anything else would be considered insane. Trying to convince me to bug out or to worry or something's bad or something's not good, don't involve me in that. I don't care because I know it will end up all good. That doesn't mean to be reckless. Obviously, if someone's got a cut on their finger, you could put a Band-Aid on it. I'm not going to be like, oh, don't worry, the Mashiach's coming. You could bleed it out. Don't worry. No, it's like a video game. What are video games? You try your hardest to win the game. But when it's over, you realize it's just a game. It's all good. You don't take it too serious. So let's try to circle back and just try to make sense of all this. I'm trying to say is we can actually learn how to chill, take a deep breath, and feel good now, just knowing that all goodness is coming in the Yemot HaMashiach, in the future times, in this countdown. Now, when is it coming? When is the Mashiach coming? When is the light going to be here? Listen, we don't know. All we know is that it can come any day, and it only takes a day for the whole operation to happen, but we know it has to happen by a certain day. What day? That's the year 6000. That's only 200-something years away. So everyone alive today is like, well, I guess my great-grandchildren may see it. That's kind of cool. Because it's like my grandfather, who I used to eat Chinese food with at Chosen in Queens on 108th Street, he was 108 years old. I was like a teenager. He was born in the year 1900. So that means I was chilling with someone from 1900, and I'm in like 2024. So like, someone, my great-grandchild, maybe will be chilling with me, and maybe he'll see it. Who knows? It doesn't even concern to me because I know it's inevitable reality, and I know my soul will be there for it because this is what our sages promised us would happen. So I'm all in on the chill, whether the Mashiach comes today, tomorrow, or in 200 years. But between me and you, according to this timeline where the Mashiach has to come by, because we know the Vilna Gaon says, and based on Tehillim with King David, that 1,000 years is like a day in the eyes of God, and the 7 days of creation, there's 7,000 years of human history. That means that the year 6000, which would be the Shabbat, Friday night at the Garden of Eden for Adam, the great Shabbat, 1,000 years are parallel to it. That would be the year 6000. But guess what? When Shabbat comes for the Jewish people, we don't start Shabbat when Shabbat starts. We start Shabbat earlier than Shabbat starts. For the Jewish people, we start Shabbat 18 minutes earlier. And for the people of Jerusalem, we light our Shabbat candles 40 minutes earlier. That means the people of Jerusalem experience the Geula, the redemption, before anyone else, basically, a taste of it. A little taste, or a tam, we say in Hebrew, of the redemption. So basically, I think according to the mathematical calculations, 1991 was the year that we were able to enter an early Shabbat. Meaning, if I'm a Orthodox Jewish person, and I'm coming home from work Friday afternoon, and I'm late, and I'm like, oh, I'm so late for Shabbat, and I'm stressing home, there's 10 minutes left, I'm just in time, and you still have time, you could be driving in Shabbat, and you'll see people walking by your car, and they themselves are coming home from synagogue from their Friday night prayers, meaning that they prayed already. They already did their Friday night prayer. They're in Shabbat, and they're coming home now to eat their Shabbat meal, and you're driving your car, you're not in Shabbat. How in the flip is it possible that in the same block, this Jew is in Shabbat, and this Jew's not in Shabbat? It's called an early Shabbat, and this Jew took it upon himself. Legally, he was allowed to. So we believe the same thing happens regarding the Yemot HaMashiach, the days of the Messiah, that there could be an early Shabbat, that someone could say, I'm a Kabbalah, I take upon myself, I am in the Yemot HaMashiach, I'm in the days of the Messiah already, I'm out of the exile. I'm giving charity, I'm worshiping God, I'm in Jerusalem, I'm going to the Ola Regel, I'm going to the Kotel 3 times a year as the biblical commandment on Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot on the 3 holidays. I'm there. Maybe I have Jerusalem syndrome, maybe I'm crazy. It doesn't matter. I'm not sinning by chilling, by having this faith that I'm in God's presence, that I'm here with Hashem in Jerusalem, in Israel. So my best advice to people is to be certain about what will be. Don't have any doubts about what will be. If you're going to doubt anything, don't doubt what will be. What will be, if you ask me, well, it will be all good. It will be heaven, God, Yemot Mashiach, whatever you want to call it. It will end up all good. So there's nothing possible in the now that could disturb me about this whole scenario. This is the mind of the Emunah Jedi, of someone who's just like, I'm so focused on Emunah because I'm so certain that that is a reality. And between me and you, Emunah actually ferments like grape juice. You could just be on grape juice the whole entire time, and it's just going to be grape juice. But if you let that grape juice sit, and you put a little bit of yeast in there and do something, guess what? It gets heady, it ferments, it changes property. So fermented Emunah, fermented chill, is what we call in Yeshiva Gula Shol the super chill, is when you fermented your chill strong enough, you're like, oh man, I'm chilling so long. Guess what it's called? It's not Emunah anymore. It becomes a bitachon. It's like this certainty. I rely on God. I'm certain on God. Bitachon. That means when I miss the bus by 3 seconds and the door shuts and the bus drives off, there's a certain percentage of humanity will be like, God hates me. Timing is not on my side today. If God loved me, I would have caught the bus. That's what they say to themselves. The other type of guy who has emunah, who has faith, he says, maybe there's purpose. Maybe I wasn't supposed to be on that bus. He sits down. Next thing you know, he looks next to him. He's like, "Oh, who are you? You're my seat neighbor. You know, we're waiting for the bus, and maybe this guy is going to be your savior. Maybe he's going to have a check for you. Maybe he's going to have a shidduch, a date to recommend for you. Maybe he's going to have a real estate deal. Maybe something is going to come from this relationship good. But it wouldn't have happened, perhaps, if you would have been there sitting by yourself, all angry." Which we compare anger to idol worship, when we can explain that. You're like, oh man, God's not with me today. You just got your head down and you're just beating yourself up. So you don't even realize your bracha, your blessing, sitting right next to you. The bracha wasn't getting on the bus on time. Stop having such an ego where you think you know what your bracha is, that you can now decide that you didn't get it and God doesn't love you. What, you lost your mind? You start microanalyzing reality where you're like, I know what God wants from me to be on his good side. No. Stop making all these assessments. Take a deep breath and live in the reality that it's all good. And if you sit down and you realize you missed this opportunity, you missed the blessing, you missed whatever, no FOMO, no should've, could've, would've. Don't use those 3 words. Those 3 words are idol worship. Should've, could've, would've. Just say, next time I'll do better. Look up and say, maybe there's a reason, there's purpose. And see the purpose. Look next to you. Look up, look around you. What's the purpose? Where's the emunah? And by the way, let me tell you guys, in the times of the Mashiach, there's no emunah anymore. No faith. You're not going to need faith. There's going to be a 3rd temple. There's going to be a king of Israel. The whole world's going to be in the house of Israel. No faith. No faith in God. It's going to be so easy and revealed. It's going to be simple. So check it out. Rabbi Nachman says, obviously when Rabbi Nachman says it, it's based on King David and King Solomon and Moshe and Kabbalah and Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and the Zohar. This is blockchain stuff. It's not just Rabbi Nachman says. Rabbi Nachman is reminding us based on what was taught. And, this is like the simplest of consolidations when Rabbi Nachman says it. And before I go into this Rabbi Nachman, I just actually, a little bit of a tangent, just want to say one other thing, is that this joy, this light that we have inside of us, it's shareable too. You could, they say fake it till you make it. Let's say you're not even in a good mood. You could smile at someone else and fake a smile, but that will cause that other person to smile because he's being smiled at. And when someone smiles at you, it causes you to have a genuine smile yourself as well. So it's just a no-brainer, the concept of fake it till you make it, even if you don't feel it's good. Spark something up, get something going. And we teach in the future days, in these days of the Mashiach that will come, the inevitable reality that will be here, that the only practical difference will be the yoke of the nations is off our shoulders. Meaning, what does that mean, the yoke of the nations off our shoulders? That means there's no special clouds opening up or miracles happening and no returning of anything crazy. It just means we actually get to understand that we are in a place that could be the Garden of Eden. We are in a place that we could live 1,000 years. We are in the future, already here now. We just don't see it. So we have to remove the blockages. That's like, they give the famous analogy, if you're in a room that's dark, you could always start a light. You could make a little light. Turn on a flashlight, spark a lighter, and you could bring light. But if you're in a room filled with light, there's no handheld device to cause darkness. You can't block the whole darkness out. And we even teach, it's fascinating, right? We even teach also that the plague of darkness wasn't even darkness. It was just abundant light. It was too much light. You ever shine a high beam flashlight into someone's eyes? It could blind them. Too much light is blinding. So this Or HaGanuz, which comes from we speculate from the pineal gland, this hidden light inside of our minds, that was the plague of darkness. It was the light of the mind that opened up. The Egyptians couldn't handle it. They bugged out. They curled into a little ball. And they terrified. And the Jews were like, "Oh, this light's amazing. We love this light." And we teach the same thing about heaven and hell. There's no separate place, heaven and hell. There's one place called the place of light. And in this place, the light will cause you to suffer enough where it will cause you to cleanse yourself because you realize what truth is. So the tzaddikim will inherit this light, and the wicked will be punished by this light. This is a teaching from the Gemara. It says the future light that's going to come will be a healing for the righteous and a punishment for the wicked. The same exact light. Not two different places. So it's all good. Even if you're going to go to hell, it's fine. It's not hell. It's light. Just forget the ego and just accept it all, On that note, just to double down, just while we're here, they say the same thing about psychedelics a little bit too, that the word for mushroom in Hebrew is pitria, which is the same shorish as peter, hetet reish, which is the same word for dying, niftar, passing, and the womb, peter rechem, which is a womb in the Torah referring to. So we see the same shorish, 3 words for mushroom, death, and womb. The birth cycle is the same shorish. And this is what we speculate when there's a secretion of the pineal gland at birth and at death, and also during prophecy and all these times. There's literally a part of our brain that comes on the 49th day, back to Sefirat HaOmer. The pineal gland develops 49th day in the womb, in the baby, the place of light. This is the place we're going to have to end up dealing with. This place in our mind, consciousness. So my best advice to everyone, circling back to the Rabbi Nachman, etc., is to know that in the future, everything will be good, and all the house of Israel will be included in it. And even the lost tribes of Israel, Zeri Israel we call. Rabbi Nachman even goes on a super stretch and says, who's Zeri Israel? The people who even want to be a part of the house of Israel in the future, they're going to be able to get grafted in. As we see, Rav Tzadok Kohen says in the future that all the Jewish people are going to become like the priests, and all the world are going to become like the Jewish people. It means the whole world gets elevated, and Israel becomes like Jerusalem, and the whole world becomes like Israel. It's a whole elevation that's going to get leveled up. So my hope for everyone who's had enough ADD, I can't imagine who's even watching this to this point of the video. Lord knows I wouldn't have enough patience to watch myself ramble about who knows what for this long. But if you are watching me for this long, my best possible advice for someone during the Sefirat HaOmer, where we're counting, we're anticipating, is just to always remind himself that, yes, I see what the future will bring, and the purpose of seeing that is not so we could be prepared then, is so we could feel it now. So I could chill now. So I could have light inside of my head. So I could just chill. And if you're not chilling, if you don't have peace in your mind, if you're beating yourself up, you gotta go heal. How are you gonna heal? A lot of different ways. Detoxes, saunas, sweat lodges, exercises, psychedelics, perhaps. Teach their own according to what your local Orthodox rabbi will tell you, or whoever wants to tell you. And on that note, I don't know, I don't have a clock or something. Let me check how much time. Yeah, I think my half hour's up. God bless everyone. I love you all. Stay strong. Sefirat HaOmer. Reach me anytime. Erez, you're the man. Over and out.